This is an introductory video to the cyclical industry module where we'll look at semiconductors as an example of a cyclical industry. Now, a cyclical industry is a type of industry that when the economy is expanding sees revenues grow and profits grow, and when the economy is contracting sees the other side of that where revenues decline, usually substantially, and profits decline quite a lot. And an example that's often cited for cyclical industry is the airline industry, where when the economy slows down, business travel goes down, there's less business to be done, and consumers are much more careful about spending on things like vacation. And so the high fixed costs of the airline industry, after all, they own these airplanes and they depreciate every year, and if they don't use them, they still have to incur those expenses. It makes a very difficult industry when things are going poorly. Now, the semiconductor industry is similar in some ways. It's a cyclical industry with high fixed costs, and so we'll look at that as an example of investing in a cyclical industry. Now, semiconductors are in everything from the computer you're probably looking at right now to watch this video, to even toasters and cars. These are ubiquitous chips, is what they're commonly referred to. So they're widely used. We will discuss timing the investment in a cyclical industry, even using a technical analysis, because that's another tool in your toolbox that you might find valuable in looking at a cyclical industry and see when would I invest. It's another input. So I don't recommend that being your only input or your only tool, but to the extent that you find it to be useful, use it. We will look at a situation where two analysts at the same time are saying very different things. One says buy, one says sell, and why they come to such different conclusions, who's right, and maybe they're both right. So I think you'll find that to be an interesting discussion. One thing that leads stocks to take huge cycles in cyclical ups and downs is as an analyst or a portfolio manager, if you buy a stock in a cyclical industry and it looks very cheap, but things keep getting worse, it'll go down more. And if it goes down 25%, your job may be at risk. So people are very cautious about buying things, even if they're very, very cheap, while the business is not yet improving. So this could even lead to irrational pricing, things being way cheaper than they should be, or when times are good, they're being way more expensive than they should be. But that is just how things behave, and we'll take a look at that. You might see the value of a business decline by 50% or more as things get more difficult, and you might see it more than double when things get better, and so we'll look at that as a phenomenon, as that makes sense. And finally, inventory levels. If there's one thing I would like to know that would allow me to make a lot of money, it's inventory levels. And why is that? If a company is a manufacturer, they recognize revenue when they sell to their distributors and their retailers. So if I know that the retailers have excess inventory, they're not going to buy more. They're going to work down what they have first. And that'll lead to very bad results to be reported by the manufacturer. Now, once those inventories are all worked down, pretty much you just have upside. And so that's the time to buy. So looking at inventories is really critical. It's difficult information to get. But if there's one piece that I would like to have, that would be it. So I look forward to your discussion online.